Syracuse started basketball season with a big win over the Mountain Hawks of Lehigh, the Fighting C.J. McCollums. They won 90-72. Today, we're talking about the ceilings and the floors and the potentials of what we saw on the court last night. It's all on Locked On Syracuse. It starts right now.
Are Locked On Syracuse, your daily podcast on the Syracuse Orange, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Matt Bonaparte, Owen Valentine with you on your Wednesday episode of Locked On Syracuse. Thank you for making Locked On Syracuse your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get podcasts, and today's episode is brought to you by Sling TV. Sling has something for everyone, especially when it comes to college football coverage, with a massive lineup of games across the ACC, Big Ten, Pac-12, and SEC. You can always catch the games you want on Sling, and now everyone can do so. Check out Sling TV now to see the massive lineup of games they have all season long. Sling, the TV you love for a price you love. Try it today. We're talking basketball once again on the pod today. I'm back. I took a little hiatus yesterday. It was just the OV show, which I'm sure everybody loved. And
thanks for coming back, bud.
Yep, I'm here.
Thanks for coming back. We appreciate it.
I'm happy to be here. That was a big win. I did watch the game, so
okay.
You have that. I liked what I saw from a lot of people, and on this episode, we're going to talk about what we think guys can turn into on this team. And I want to start at maybe an uncharacteristic spot, somewhere you probably didn't think I was going to start, but I'm starting at Munir Hima. That's my guy. I'm starting at Hima. He looked good.
So I think as I talked about yesterday on the episode, he was a very pleasant surprise yesterday and was a lot more confident and competent than I thought he would be based on, the smaller sample sizes we saw in the exhibitions. I liked seeing they were playing man just about until Hima came in and they switched to the 2-3, and I thought he played pretty solid at the center of the 2-3 and was able to, pick up those back-to-back blocks. There was a possession a little bit before that where he gets, 2 offensive rebounds and a putback. He showed me that there was a little more life to him than maybe I had anticipated. I will also say size advantage. So I don't know if I want to completely go absolutely nuts with him yet. But I was 100% pleasantly surprised with what I saw out of him yesterday.
Here's what I'll say. When you think about recent centers at Syracuse, you kind of think about Barama, you think about Pascal, and when I compare Munir to those guys, I see a guy that at least is more built to play the game of basketball. I feel more like Barama and Pascal were just tall guys, and they were like, you got to play ball. And they did well because one of them was 7 foot, the other one's 6'10", and they went out there and did what they had to do sometimes. But a guy like Barama Sidibe, his knees were just not meant to play the sport. Munir Hima looked good out there. He looked confident. He didn't look like he was going to break. I was very happy with what I saw in Hima, and it wasn't huge expectations. The guy got 8 minutes, and like you said, a couple offensive boards, a putback, a couple blocks on one possession, and one that started a fast break. I thought he was great, and you say the size advantage, yes. So you want to take those stats with a grain of salt. But what I will say is that the confidence I'm happy with. Not every freshman or transfer comes onto the court at Syracuse and plays with utmost confidence. That's what we saw. A lack thereof in Benny last year. He really just didn't have that, and I think that's what hindered him the most over anything else that was actually in his game. It was that he didn't play confidently. At least Hima's coming out here, and he is playing really confident center and a really good anchor in the zone. Like you said, he came in and he played a solid anchor in the zone as they shifted from man to zone. I was really happy with what I saw from Hima. I don't know necessarily that he's going to be able to turn into a guy like Jesse Edwards, but I think that he could be better than Barama was.
Yeah, I think that's
because Barama had one good season. He really did.
Yeah, I think that's a good range to put him in there. If I'm looking at this season alone, in terms of floor, I don't really see him as a guy that's going to lose this number 2 spot to carry it all. But I think he's going to be the number 2 center, even at the floor, and hop in for 5 minutes or maybe a little bit longer if Edwards gets into foul trouble and not really be a contributor, just sort of be a get me through guy. In terms of ceiling, there were flashes last night that suggest that, those can be a little bit more than get me by minutes and minutes that obviously he's not going to be, taking chunk time away from Edwards by any means, barring injury. But it could be enough to elevate from, all right, just get through this shift with Munir in here, get through that shift to, all right, they can still get the ball into the big man, or you're still going to be having an advantage on the boards. I sort of see that. It's not the biggest range in terms of players, and the difference between his floor and ceiling here, in my mind at least, is sort of set in stone, and not too polarizing by any means. But he is a guy that I will still say definitely rose up if we're considering this a stock market last night.
How do you feel about what I'm about to say? Peter Carey red shirt. Thoughts?
I don't hate it. I think that's a very
I think he
realistic
should red shirt.
thing. It makes a lot of sense, especially given the situation right now, and Jesse, leaving at the end of the year, and then it becomes, maybe Carey puts on a little bit of muscle, a little bit of weight, and elevates his game a little bit, comes out next year and is going to compete for a lot of minutes. I think that's the best decision for him. And, maybe you'll see a little bit more before we have to make that decision or before we have to see that decision, but it does seem like a smart career move for him. And, based on the minimal things that I really read and heard about him at this point, he doesn't strike me as a guy that is going to be an I'm not playing year one transfer. So I think it might be smart to redshirt, give it a go next year, and then reevaluate from there.
Well, yeah, he wasn't a huge target on the recruiting trail. He was unranked by pretty much every single recruiting website. Syracuse signed him; it became a 3-star. That's how it goes in college basketball. But so I wouldn't be surprised either if he stuck around. I don't think that he has the biggest ego on the planet. But anyway, let's get on to another player because we've done about 8 minutes on Munir, which I'm all here for. But how about a guy? We're gonna go from one spectrum to the other of thing you didn't think I was going to start about to a thing absolutely you thought I was going to say. Judah Mintz.
Malik
Let's
Brown.
talk Judah Mintz.
Oh, I tried to guess.
No, Judah. Judah looked awesome to me. I mean,
yeah,
a couple of plays he had where he just shook up the defender and just drilled a mid-range shot. I think you also have to take into consideration what you were saying about the opposition in that you are playing the Lehigh Mountain Hawks. So that's the kind of thing I'm happy that you're going out there and doing, but I don't think that's going to fly against UNC. So that's a little bit of a different thing there. But he still did look really good. Boeheim, of course, whenever the media is happy, he's pissed. And whenever he's pissed, the media is pumped or whatever. Or whenever he's happy, the media is pissed. He just is the opposite. So he goes into that press conference and he says, yeah, Judah, he could only score, but 3 assists, not enough, which he's right about. He should be passing the ball around more and creating more shots. But I just thought he'd be a little bit more excited that Syracuse has a point guard for the first time in so long that is a playmaker.
Yeah, that was the big word, right? His ability to create, get to the rim, and be more than, an outside shooter, which I don't think he attempted a 3 last night, did he? If I remember correctly, sure. I don't think he attempted a 3. He got to the rim really well. Obviously, he missed that one layup in transition. We're not going to talk about that. But he showed me what I sort of got from him in terms of watching his high school film, and his ability to create, get to the rim, and finish in contact is going to be so valuable for Syracuse, because even if, he's just getting to the line, the fact that you're going to have to be aware of that defensively and ready to defend that is going to create room for other guys. So I think the assists will come. Yesterday or 2 days ago at the time of this releasing, not necessarily an assist-focused game for him, but I think there will be such great opportunities because of the ability that he has to get to the rim that it is going to create space for a lot of other guys. In terms of ceiling, I realistically do think that his ceiling is a one and done first round NBA guy. His floor is that he's going to be. I think this, his floor is 8 points a game in my mind. I have a pretty decent expectation for him. I see this guy in terms of floor as someone who is going to still get his minutes, still get his run. Maybe it's 8 points, 3 assists is the average when all is said and done. I sort of see that as the baseline. I anticipate him being a lot better than that. I don't necessarily anticipate him being a one and done first round pick in the NBA, but I do think that he might have the capabilities. And seeing the conversations preseason, I don't think that's outlandish to think could be something that might be in the ballpark or in the questions.
Hey,
or in
Malachi
the
Richardson did
cards,
it. Okay,
a couple months
anybody
from
can do it. All right. All right. I agree with you, by the way. I think that is probably the ceiling, even though I kind of think it's unlikely. I think he'll be here for at least one more year.
now. The ceiling is the roof, Bones.
Yes. All right. Let's take a quick break and then we'll continue. But first, let me tell you about SimpliSafe. If you've thought of securing your home with home security, but have been putting it off, you'll want to listen up right now. Locked On Syracuse listeners can order the #1 rated SimpliSafe home security system for 50% off. This is their biggest offer of the year, and you won't want to miss it. Here's why people love it. It offers 24/7 monitoring agents who will detect danger in your home. That 24/7 professional monitoring uses Fast Protect technology exclusively from SimpliSafe to capture critical evidence and verify the threat is real so you can get priority police presence. SimpliSafe is whole home security with advanced sensors for every room, window, and door, HD security cameras for inside and out, smarter ways to detect motion that alert you only when a threat is real, and even hazard sensors that detect fires, floods, and other threats to your home. 24/7 professional monitoring service costs less than $1 a day, less than half the price of ADT's traditional professionally installed system. With the top-rated SimpliSafe app, stay in complete control of your system anytime, anywhere. Arm or disarm, unlock for a guest, access your cameras, or adjust system settings. Don't miss your chance to save big on the only security system that's recommended. Get $50 or 50% off any new SimpliSafe system at simplisafe.com/URL today. This is their biggest discount of the year, so don't wait. That's simplisafe.com/lockedoncollege. There's no safe like SimpliSafe. We're back on the Locked On Syracuse podcast. I'm Matt Bonaparte. He's Owen Valentine. And we're talking SU basketball, finally. Really, really solid game. I think some people probably thought the defense should have played better or whatever. Like, they gave up 72 points to Lehigh. You thought that? I really didn't think that.
I don't
I
think they
thought
played
Boeheim
terribly.
I thought he was just throwing people out there and seeing what worked. I think he realized they were going to win the game, and he was like, all right, let's see what they can do. I didn't really care if they score 70 points.
I thought, and this is something Boeheim said after the game, and you mentioned he might have sounded a little cranky in his post-game presser, but I think it was a decent point. There were a few too many just uncontested shots and free shots was my one thing, and I think that was recoverable and something that could have been done a little bit better, especially given the opponent. So I'm going to say that if there was the weak spot, it's going to be defensively was my concern where I wanted to see the biggest improvement. And it's just because of who they were playing. And I think they shot over 50% in the second half with regards to Lehigh. So I just wanted to see a little bit more defensively. But I don't think they played badly on defense. I just wanted to see that next level throughout this game.
All right, let's talk Benny Williams here. Benny has been scrutinized for his entirety of his collegiate career thus far. He had a terrible freshman season in which everybody called him a bust, but like with the question mark, because they were like, I don't know if I'm sure about it yet, but like he's definitely trending that way. And game one definitely did not help his case. He played 23 minutes. He went 1 for 5 from the field, took a 3, bricked it. Missed 2 free throws. He got 3 rebounds and a block, but turned the ball over twice, fouled once, and only scored 2 points from that 1 field goal. He was bad. He didn't play well at all. And I'm starting to feel for the guy. I don't know if you realize his halftime adjustment. It was taking his headband off. No longer a headband guy.
I noticed
I don't
that.
know. Yeah.
Now that you mention it, I did realize that because I thought Chris Bell was him for a second when I looked and saw the headband, and then I realized that he had taken it off.
Yeah. But yeah, Benny, I still don't think it's outlandish to say he is the most athletic guy on the floor, but he just doesn't. I don't know. He just doesn't. He can't put it all together. And he looked fine in the exhibition games. I seriously think it's a confidence thing for him. Maybe not entirely, but at least partially. What do you see as a ceiling and a floor for him?
Right now, I don't want to overreact to game 1 because I was impressed with, especially that first exhibition game and the way he came out and played, and was that spark to get Syracuse going in the second half. I love the way he was crashing the boards in the exhibition. He didn't seem like he had the same aggression last night after he missed the layup on, I don't know if it was the opening possession or one of the early possessions.
Down on himself, totally.
I don't know if that was just a catalyst for him that worked in the wrong direction when he gets a wide open look from Jesse Edwards on a beautiful dish, misses the layup, gets fouled, and goes 0 for 2 from the line. I don't know if that was just the mental snap right back into it from last year's mentality, but he didn't look like he was as aggressive as he was in the exhibitions. I don't want to go crazy on him yet. It's one game. He's going to get his minutes. He's going to get his looks, especially early on. In terms of ceiling, I think he figures it out. He averages, I'm going to say, 10 points.
That would be insane if he averaged 10 points. That would be fantastic.
10 points, 6 rebounds would be his ceiling in my mind per game.
That would be incredible.
His floor, which is really unfortunate that I'm going to say this, he does not have a solid floor.
He can't. How could you?
His floor is he loses the starting spot. Yeah, his floor.
Did you hear what Boeheim said in the post game?
And he doesn't play.
Did you hear what he said? Somebody asked
yes.
About, Benny has a 2-guard mentality. What are you going to do to curb that? I think it was actually WAER's Ian Unsworth.
He said nothing.
And he said, I'm not going to do anything about it. I'll just not play him. I mean, that's what he's going to do. And do you blame him? No, absolutely not.
No.
Get with the program, Benjamin.
Benny
I don't know what to tell you.
Has to make the adjustment is what it comes down to. It's got to be him that adjusts. And right now, that ceiling is there, and it is something that he could do. And I don't think that I'm overhyping him in saying that. Based on what I've seen, based on the glimpses from the exhibitions, he could do that. But I've also seen enough that says that the floor could be he loses a starting spot, plays 4 or 5 minutes a game, and not every game coming into conference play, and is struggling. I don't want to jump to that right now. But that is the realistic, based on the highs and lows that we have seen, including all of last season, including the exhibitions, maybe even overweighing the exhibitions at this point. That is my ceiling and floor for him right now.
I can't disagree. I mean, I mean, if he came out and at some point, even for like a 5 or 6 game stretch, he put together 10 points and 6 rebounds or something close to that, I think the team would get so much better.
Yeah.
Like if he could offer the team those numbers, even through like 10 games or something, they would be fantastic for those 10 games. All right,
said it early on. His jump or not jump that is made this year,
is
going to be one of the most important facets to the team's success.
Syracuse will go as far as he takes them in some way. But let's take one more quick break, and then we will get to 1 or 2 more players. This one brought to you by Built Bar. That's right. Built is back. Okay. We got to pause the pod because we got to talk about Built. Okay. You got to try this. I'm talking about Built Bar's new reimagined flavors: cookie dough topper, coconut brownie bar, coconut brownie topper, white chocolate peppermint granola, It's Built's
Ooh.
take on the granola bar. It's so much more filling and still insanely tasty. And candy cane, brownie puff, Built
Oh,
Puffs
yeah.
are like biting into the universe's most delicious cloud. First off,
Wow.
for anyone who hasn't tried Built Bar before, they're literally the best tasting protein bars ever built. Get it? They're revolutionizing nutrition as we know it with 100% real chocolate, 17 grams of protein, and shockingly low sugar and calories. 130 calories, OV. Just sink your teeth
130.
into that first bite and it'll change your life forever. I'm not kidding. There will be a time before you try these new Built flavors and the magical, wonderful time afterwards. You're probably wondering which new flavor is my favorite. An unanswerable question, to say the least. They're all unbelievable and they're all different. So you got to order a mixed box and try all 5 flavors for yourself. Built. You got to try this. Get 15% off your order right now by using the code LOCKEDON15 at built.com. Go get yourself some Built bars, people. All right. Bones, OV, back with you for 5-ish more minutes here on the Locked On Syracuse podcast. Let's talk for a couple more players. We talked Munir, we gave Judah, and Benny. How about Malik Brown? Malik Brown, I got clowned at the beginning of the season. I got clowned by the comment section. They said, wow, Bones really doesn't know anything about basketball. Wow, Matt doesn't know what he's talking about. Because you know why? Because I said Malik Brown's going to be good. And he's got one of the best freshman basketball bodies coming onto this team. And guess who also said that recently? Coach Red. All right. Who knows ball now? Me, Coach Red, or you, listener? Yeah, that's what I thought. I was right about Malik Brown, or at least I was for at least one game. He had 7 points, 3 rebounds, and the guy is a good force inside. I like Malik Brown.
Yeah, I was saying based on the first game, he really just looked like he was gliding out there. It was so smooth, very effortless. It didn't look like he was trying to do too much. And I think that's going to go a long way. He was another one that really did surprise me in this game and that I wasn't quite sure what my expectations should be. And he definitely exceeded them in game one. In terms of ceiling, I actually think I'm going to give him the same ceiling as Benny Williams. And I think his ceiling is a starter that averages 10 points and 6 rebounds a game.
That would be insane if he averaged 10 points. I said that about Benny as well. Almost verbatim what I said about him. But it's right. I don't think he does that. That would be crazy.
I said ceiling.
I know,
but
that
is a Benny Williams based ceiling. And that is all reliant on Benny Williams.
I don't think he'd score that much. I think he'd just crash the boards a ton. And
maybe we dip it down. You want to say 7?
SWAT shots.
7 and 5?
Sure, whatever.
7 and 5.
I feel like the rebound number could be even higher. Like, think about Cole Swider last year. Cole Swider was the second leading rebounder on the team. He had 100 rebounds by the time the season was over. He almost averaged 10 a game. I think Malik Brown could be that. Benny Williams could be that. Whoever's playing that 4 position could be that. Last year it was the 3. This year it could be the 4.
In terms of floor, he's going to come in and get those minutes occasionally and not take advantage of them, I guess would be the floor, is he's playing 4 minutes a game, averaging 1.2 points per game and not really contributing all too much. And in order for that floor to be hit last night or Monday night at this point would have had to just be a flash in the pan for him, which I don't think it is. But that floor is the insurance policy for if that was just a quick pan flash.
Let's get one more quick one in here. Let's talk Chris Bell, okay? Boeheim said in the post-game press conference that if he doesn't go after loose balls, he won't play. He'll just bench him. This is arguably the most talented player in the class aside from Judah. And he said, if he doesn't go after loose balls, I'm not going to play him, which is what makes him a Hall of Famer at the end of the day. But at the same time, is a little bit jarring to hear. I was like, really? All right. I like it because, I want everybody on the team to have the Marek Dolezaj spirit. But Chris Bell, what are you doing, man? He played meh. He was fine. He didn't go for loose balls, I'll tell you that much. But he didn't knock my socks off.
No, this was a game where, we said this in the exhibitions, he sort of gets lost sometimes in the starting five, where it doesn't seem like he's got a true role and doesn't seem like he's necessarily contributing in the offense as much as you want him to. Per Boeheim, he's the second best shooter on the team, behind Joe Girard, and I don't know if that's factual.
Fine. I don't care.
But that was the post-game statement.
What did he say last year? It's the greatest shooting team he's ever had last year. All right, fine, I guess.
My thought was just that it does show how important him taking that defensive step is. If Boeheim, in his mind, has this as the number 2 shooter on your team, but he's ready to pull the plug if you're not going to get a little bit more aggressive on defense, or shows the priority of the defensive jump in terms of Boeheim's lens right now. It doesn't necessarily have to be my lens, but in terms of the lens of Boeheim, I do think that is relevant. When I look at what he can do this year, he obviously can be a 12-point per game kind of guy. I don't think that's absurd.
He should be.
But
whoever's in that 3 spot should be.
Whether hasn't shown that
or
yet.
Bell, that guy's got to be a double-digit scorer if the team's going to win basketball.
Neither one of them showed that yesterday. And I will come at, just like you defended yourself today, I'm going to defend myself right now. In yesterday's episode, I did not let Justin Taylor off the hook scot-free, as much as someone in our comments wants to claim that was the case. I recited Boeheim's post-game press conference thoughts, in which he said that Chris Bell will not play if he doesn't step it up defensively. And even though Justin Taylor went 1 for 7, there are days in practice where he will go 6 for 7, taking that same series of shots. I was reciting Boeheim's thoughts. I was not saying that Justin Taylor played good. I don't think either of them played a good game yesterday. And I want to see more from them because I know that there is more in the tank from both of those players. I am going to group this right now from the 3 position. The ceiling, I'm going to say, is 16 points per game from the 3 positions. So the duo of them, in whatever capacity they're playing, is 16 points a game. And the floor, I will say, is, I'm going to cut that in half and say 8. No, 7. 7 sounds like a better number. So the floor for that duo at the 3 is 7 points, which I think would be an incredible disappointment. And the ceiling for them, I would say, is 16 to 18 points as a duo as well.
I'm with you there, too. Yeah, I like those numbers. I'm with you on them. All right, that's all the time we have today. Thanks for making Locked On Syracuse your first listen every day, including today. For your next listen, check out the Locked On Sports Today podcast, the biggest stories of the day, plus instant reactions, big game recaps, and the take of the day. Available on the Odyssey app, YouTube, and wherever you get podcasts. I'm Matt Bonaparte. He is Owen Valentine. We'll see you tomorrow.